Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the market in EVE Online. Now, I think a lot of the nullsec people are actually happy because CCP is doing something about the logistics nerf. They're actually doubling the range for the jump freighters, so they get 10 light years instead of 5 light years, and that does seem to turn a lot of people around when it comes to the planned nerf to damage projection. So I think it's overall looking pretty good, and the vibe has turned a lot more positive, I think, with CCP clearly listening to the players as well, and showing their willingness to actually work with them and to try and find a good solution for everyone. So I still think that this is quite okay. I think they had a very valid point in saying that nerfing nullsec logistics that much could really start to become a real problem to produce stuff in nullsec, and if you do want some more, you actually also want people to be able to bring in the ships that need to be destroyed. So yeah, overall I think CCP is working hard to make Phoebe a successful release, and yeah, it's all looking good in my book. So let's go on to the market then. I think that was really the biggest news when it comes to last week, that CCP released, I think it was just a post on the forum explaining that yeah, they are listening and this is what we're gonna do to address some of the issues, and a lot of people do seem to enjoy that quite a lot. So let's start with plex here, 145, something like that. For plex, and ouch, 807 million almost for a plex, so that's clearly gone up. 786 for the buyers though. That's a 20 million gap in between the buy orders and the sell orders. That's actually pretty big. I usually see it hanging around closer to 12 to 13 million. Of course, you have to keep in mind that when it comes to the costs of orders, it counts in percentages, and so if the prices go higher, it's normal that you actually start to see a larger margin in between sellers and buyers, just because they have to cover that bigger price in order to actually put up the sell order or the buy order. So I think that the margin is a little bit bigger than expected, and so the rise was decently sudden over the last week after we came down a little bit. But yeah, it breaking 800 million is quite significant. This is a 3-month chart right here. You can see the small dip almost reaching 785, but now it's back up. Luckily it does seem to be slowing down at the end here again, and so one of the comments is probably right. It was due to a plex sale, 10% off of plexes by CCP that caused this dip here, and if it only lasts for a week, well, it's already back up. People are back into the buying of plexes at the moment, and yeah, very competitive. And honestly, I'm starting to doubt if this will ever really come down, or if like 800 million is going to become like the new normal for plexes. I think there's actually a pretty good chance for that to happen. Let's go to a 1-month chart here, and let's move on to minerals then, and that's at around 330. So let's check these out. Minerals, let's start with titanium here. That pretty much stayed where it was. So over the last month, titanium has been doing quite well. In fact, over the last 2 months or so, it's actually been doing quite okay. If I go for the 1-month chart, starting at 538, ending at 552, we're actually looking at sell orders of 556, 555, something like that. I did not count some of the very small sell orders that were as low as 550 when I was checking the numbers, but looks to me like titanium is actually flat for the week, and I think that's pretty much normal. We saw that supply and demand was coming into balance quite a bit more than in the previous weeks, and here again I think we're seeing a similar situation. We are seeing sell orders of 800 million, 200 million, and 50 million. We're seeing buyers of 200, 700. Sure, there's a few bigger ones of more than $1 billion here, but they're actually a little bit down, so there's actually some competition on the buy order side there as well. The numbers are not out of whack that much anymore, and so I do think that titanium is in for some sideways movement for the next week as well, if I look at some of these supply demand numbers. Let's check out pyrite here then. Yeah, if you look at the 1 month, it's not bad. From 11 ISK to 11.3 ISK, it's really not that much either. But you can see it was a pretty steep rise a few weeks ago, and then it's actually managed to hold on quite well above the 11 ISK price mark at around 11.3. So let's have a quick look here at supply demand. 11.21 for the buyers, 11.22 for the sellers, so no margin whatsoever there. 50 million and 20 million for the buyers, 51 million and 10 million for the sellers. Again, this is much more balanced. This is a well supplied market that seems to have found its price, and apparently for pirates it's going to be close to like the 11.2 ISK or ISK, however you prefer to pronounce that. Let's have a quick look at Mexalon then. Also, obviously a slowing down. I think you can clearly see that in the first half of the month, just like with pyrite and with titanium, although titanium only stopped a little bit later. But in the first half of the month, Mexalon went from 62 ISK to 72 ISK, which is not insignificant, about a sixth of the price. But after that it slowed down, and it's still slowly trending up, even now for Mexalon breaking the 72 ISK mark, but it's a lot slower. And if I look at supply demand, I'm actually sure I'm gonna see a much, well, actually look at that, 32 million, 75 million, and here 13 million, 26, 22 million. So there is still more demand for Mexalon than supply at the moment, which is pushing the price up a little bit. But all of the high-sec minerals, I think, are starting to find their prices and become better supplied at the prices that they are. Let's see Isogen then quickly. That one is actually stable for the entire month, with a big spike again in the first half of the month, but that one is already corrected back towards the 126 range where it started, so that's pretty interesting. And supply demand here, that's a lot better, 19 million, 12 million and 4 million. As you can see here in Isogen, it's actually yeah, pretty much a balanced market here. So the Mexalon one is the only one, I think, with a little bit of upwards potential. All the others seem to be more on a stable trend at the moment. Interesting stuff. I think it's good for the miners. You know, we've actually had a pretty good month with increasing prices, and if they can actually maintain these prices, I think that miners in high-sec can actually be pretty happy with what they're getting for their ores at the moment. Also keep in mind that they have the option for compression as well, so it may be that at some point in the future the mineral market is going to slow down, and the compressed ore market might make up the difference there. And someone asked me, I think it's in the previous EVE talk, if compressed ores are mirroring ores and mineral markets. I think it's just too early for that. The market is too small. There is a lot more demand for compressed ores because that's the easiest and best way to actually import minerals into nullsec. But the supply just isn't there yet, and so what I'm seeing at the moment is still a little bit of an opportunity in compressed ores compared to normal ores and minerals. But that is going to change, of course, as the market matures. All of this will start to balance itself out, and all of them will start to mirror each other a lot closer than what they're doing now, just because the compressed ore market is so new at the moment. Let's move on to like more of nullsec related minerals here. This is Noxium, again down significantly for the month with no end in sight. So we're actually looking at a price of less than 600 ISK for Noxium. Supply demand here, well, look at that, still a decent 3 million, 1.5 million, 1 million, 2 million. So it's probably going to start to slow down because these are really low prices, but there is really no end in sight for these downward trends in the nullsec minerals. Let's have a look here at Zydrine then. That one at least is buckling the trend a little bit, but you can see here again, after bouncing to 465, it's already trending back down here. Is there more supply coming in? A little bit. Look at that, 6 million, 2 million, 1 million. All of these are pretty recent. So yeah, there is still a lot of supply, a lot of competition on the sell order front of Zydrine as well, which is going to push the price back down a little bit after a double top here. Double dip. It's actually a serious dip, then a small double top here, but it does look like it's actually going to to go back down a little bit. Let's have a look at Megasite. That one again here, it tried, but compared to like the 6-month chart, you'll see that this jump up here because of an increased volume is very small. Volume goes back down, so does the price once again. And at supply demand, look at that, 5 million, 1.3 million. You're not seeing those numbers on the competitive side of the buy orders. So there is still a little bit more supply than demand, and yeah, these prices are going down for the nullsic minerals quite considerably. I don't think I've actually seen Megasite this low ever in my playing of EVE Online. So I think that's pretty interesting so far. And an opportunity maybe for manufacturers that like to mine their own stuff. You know, the high-sec minerals, if they mine them themselves. I know that's not free, but personally that's a playstyle that I do enjoy. I've done that and I do enjoy that. But supplementing that with buying the nullsic minerals, which are very cheap at the moment, can yield maybe some nice margins for your ships. So yeah, let's have a look at the impact on the Tech 1 market here. 1040 for that. Which last week it looked like nullsic guys were buying up a lot of stuff, and here the Caracal, you can already see that one has bounced back down quite substantially and is heading back towards the 10.6. Yeah, there we go, 10.6. The first sell order is coming in there. A normal price for a Caracal. So this may just have been like a panic reaction by the nullsic blogs because of the changes that are coming for Phoebe, now that they've learned that the logistics is not going to get nerfed as hard as first planned. They may yeah, just not go into that buying spree again, and thus the market gets a little bit of chance to recover. Here we have the Dominics, a little top at 190, dropping back down to 186, now working its way back up. Yeah, supply just isn't there yet, so bring your Dominics to the market. I think you'll see that you'll have some good prices for those. Here are the Drakes. The Drakes are taking off pretty nicely, but 25 of them coming in at 48, so it does look like supply is going to come in here, and that this will actually top off here for the Drake. Let's have a look at the Magnate. Well, that one is very stable. And here is the Talos. Again, look at that nice little sprint up in the first half of the month, which mirrors what was happening with the high-sec minerals. But now it's actually tapering back off here. Let's have a quick look at supply demand. I think that this is actually okay. You do see that there are some big buy orders that are opportunistic with low prices. There's a lot of supply here, 23, that's a pretty big order, but it's not totally out of whack, and so I do think that the Talos will be able to maintain a price close to 70 million or something like that. I'm not seeing any reason to panic here in the Tech 1 market. I would say that if anything happened last week, the nullsic guys actually panicked a little bit. There was some panic buying, and so in some of the ships you will find, I think, an opportunity to produce and sell if you're fast at a few higher prices. But other than that, technically I think that the Tech 1 market has been pretty stable since Cryos pretty much, so it's really been able to weather the Cryos industry changes quite well, and I see no reason to think that that's going to stop at any time. As if a ship needs really rebalancing, CCP tends to do that very quickly, and so overall people find uses for all of the ships. There is demand for all the ships, and thus there is supply for them as well, because Cryos has not nerfed anything into the ground. People can produce them, and so yeah, we're seeing, I think, a healthy situation that makes the market both competitive but affordable as well. So I think it's okay. It's all looking quite okay. Let's move on to the Tech 2 market for some trade opportunities. 1340 for that. We'll just quickly touch on these, because honestly it's not looking like too much is moving here. Look at that, the Absolution still maintaining, well, maybe go for a 6-month chart here, still maintaining a very high price. So that's a little bit of a surprise to me, that the Absolution has still stayed so high, but yeah, there it is. I would, if you can sell some still, maybe do it, otherwise I would hold off. Here is the Astarte again, look at that, small spike here at the tail end and still being as high as like 320 million. Here is the Claymore, goddamn data points still screwing with everything, but that one is slowly going down towards the 280 mark, which I think is a more normal price, but it needs to go down even lower before I would say, yeah, invest in that. So at the moment it really looks like the command chip market is not too good for trade opportunities. Here the Damnation, look at that, it did break 250 just for a touch here, and it went back up towards 270. So if you see like a command ship go down substantially, there may be an opportunity there, but a lot of them seem to be extremely high. This is the Eagle chart. Yeah, coming close to 170 here. Could be interesting if you're seeing big supply here, still 13, 19 of them, 172, still a little bit higher, but it's coming close, I think, to an interesting territory for the Eagle. For a purchasing opportunity. This is the EOS here. Look at that. Yeah, not bad here, the EOS, honestly. Breaking down below 310 and then taking back off again. 5-day moving average, breaking the 20-day moving average. There was probably a very narrow trade opportunity in the EOS like 1 or 2 weeks ago when it was below 310 there. Let's have a look at the Guardian. Oh, that's nice. I'm gonna unload my Guardians. I think I bought mine at like 130. Close to 130, and look at that big spike up here to 165 for the sellers. These are the awesome opportunities, of course, and I've got a few Guardians to unload, I think. Very nice. I'll need to plan a trip to Jeddah, but this is what I like to see for the Take-Two market, because I like to see this as a trade opportunity, and the Guardian here is a textbook example, I think, of 3 spikes in like 4 months time that were awesome opportunities to make some money, and I actually managed to grab this one right here, so that's looking pretty good. The Hound here, double spike, pretty good as well, but it's on its way down, so if you wanted to sell them, you're a little bit late and you'll have to wait for them breaking 20 million again to buy them. This is the Manticore. Look at that, probably an opportunity here in the Manticore, I think. 21 million for the sellers, 20.5 million for the buyers. That's generally a point where they actually break and go into an increase in price. So yeah, I think Manticore next week or in the coming 2 weeks is going to be interesting. What's the Nemesis doing? That one is actually taking off from a low close to 19 million. So I am still seeing this pattern, you know, of them trending down, going down, but then certainly taking off. Unfortunately, I've really been keeping an eye on the command ship market for a long time. I think the Alliance tournament had a big influence on this one, and now it's very hard to find the opportunities in the command ship market. Look at the Nighthawk taking off quite substantially, despite the fact that they're still coming from 260, which is extremely high in my opinion. Next up, the Purifier. Oh, the Purifier going down nicely. Again here, keep an eye out for buy opportunities here. Scimitar, look at that nice, beautiful spike up here. If you had been able to buy at this little dip below 140, you're looking at 187. You're looking at an easy 40, 50 million, no, maybe 40 to 45 million profit on a single Scimitar. On a purchase of 140, that's incredible. I mean, for traders, this is like a wet dream. This is a dream come true. That's awesome. Sleipnir also going down and seemingly slowing down as well at the 260. I would not invest in this. I think it needs to be lower for all of these command ships, but there are obviously some temporary opportunities. The Vulture though, look at that, that is more interesting. Finally coming down to the point where it was 6 months ago. In fact, breaking, it started at 250, now it's as low as 240. Yeah, maybe keep an eye on that one. Finally, thank you Vulture for actually breaking the trend of all these other command ships and showing us that there is still some opportunity in the command ship market. But a few other ones as well. The Scimitar and the Guardian, obviously you want to be selling those. But look at the Manticore, look at what was the Purifier, look at the Vulture if you're looking at some investment opportunities. Yeah, honestly, this Tech2 market for traders, keep a close eye on that one. Let's move on then to the Tech3 market at 1840, and that one is obviously going to be a little bit more interesting here. Let's go for a 1 month chart to see what it's been doing at the tail end. Taking off, so Legion as high as 136, yeah, also almost 137. The Loki, oh, the Loki down, that's surprising. Still below 130, oversupplied. Not by that much anymore. People are probably going to start holding off. This is the Proteus. Look at that, beautiful. 153. There is huge supply. Obviously some manufacturers already want to cash in on these prices. And this is the Tengu 141. Not bad. Pretty big supply still, but also taking off. This is of course speculation on this live event that they're doing at the moment, where you provide sleeper loot to NPCs, and this will unlock some technology that is probably going to be related to Tech3 ships. and if I have to be honest, the most likely is a tech tree rebalancing, and so a lot of people are probably investing in these tech tree ships, hoping that they will actually be buffed substantially and that they'll make a good investment there. I'll let you be the judge of that, because it's all still up in the air unless we get like an actual announcement of what changes. You know, if the actual changes are new tech tree ships and no changes to these tech trees, a lot of people are gonna have a serious amount of tech trees sitting there that are going to go down in value. But if it is a rebalancing, this could be a good trade. So yeah, interesting. But as I've said, you know, this tech tree market was not going to change unless CCP made an announcement, and they sort of made an announcement, so it sort of made a move. So it's still, if you want to wait for the actual announcement of what's going to happen, I would not blame you, honestly. It's probably more the route I would take personally. And then we will move on to the extra products for this week at let's say 2045. And I've chosen one for my own purposes. I've chosen fullerenes, which are the gas products. Let me see if I can find them here. Gas products from Wormhole Space, because I do get a few gas sites there, and so I want to have a quick look at what that market has actually been doing. So this is the C28. Yeah, up on the 1 month, not bad. And let's also have a quick look at the 6 month chart here. Pretty stable on 6 months. Let's have a look at the C32. Also pretty stable. Look at that, starting at 15k, ending at 15k. So there is some variation, but it's pretty stable here so far. See, well, that one is up. Okay, from 56,000 to 60,000. Interesting, although still nothing really like a huge trend to be seen on these 6 months. Ooh, C50, that is beautiful, because I actually have mine 2 C50s already. So that's something that I need to keep in mind here. The C50s seriously up in price, quite substantially. C540, well, up on the 6 months, but stable in the last period or so. So that's okay. The C60, ooh, interesting. Look at that, starting very high, extremely stable. Not sure what that means. Dropping down to 350 and then holding that price, maybe slowly trending up. Yeah. C70, well, it looks like it's up in the last period, but it actually went down in like the 4 months before that. So honestly, nothing too dramatic. And this is C27, 72, I'm sorry, from 4,500 to 6,000. So again, a little bit of an upswing here, some decent variation. Honestly, this is like 50-60% increase in price between the bottom and the top here, then back down, and now back up a little bit, but also trailing off. So and this is then C84, which is not really worth anything. And that is actually very stable. So yeah, these fullerenes overall, I think they're a decently mature market that stays pretty stable, but this C50 does jump out, of course. That's a significant spike up here at the tail end, so that's interesting. And this will probably help me myself to locate the ones that are actually worth mining and are not worth mining. So yeah, fullerites overall, I think it's a pretty stable market. But there are some opportunities, of course, to unload a few goods at decent prices as well there. Interesting stuff. Okay, this was a little bit of a personal fancy here to check out the fullerenes. I hope you don't mind. That's it for this EVE Talk, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.